Brought to you by Lister Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan here with Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV, and today we have a very special guest here in Tucson. We have Christopher Peterson of the Peterson team at RE/MAX Excalibur. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day today, Christopher.
Thanks a lot, Jordan.
And, so give us a little bit of background on yourself. How did you get into real estate? I find it fascinating, all the different stories, like why people get into real estate. So give us the background.
I got in because of my better half.
Yeah?
I was in marketing for years, and she actually got into real estate before I did. And I was working for a company, and she thought I'd be better off in real estate. And I made the switch and haven't looked back since. I was born for this.
So how long ago
That was 5 years ago.
Okay, so you've been in real estate for 5 years?
Yep.
And did you start off as a solo agent or
I did.
on a team?
I started off as a solo agent with Tierra Antigua.
Oh, gotcha.
And just a little over a year ago, I moved to RE/MAX Excalibur. I noticed that little over half of my clients were coming in from out of state, and nothing against Tierra and their power of being, the biggest local brokerage, but I wanted the national and international reach of a big brand.
Sure.
And their marketing power. And so I made the move and haven't looked back. It's been great having the ability to send referrals and get referrals from across the country.
Sure.
I've gotten 5 referrals this year from Chicago and California.
So like a lot of relocations?
A lot of relocations, second homes, military moving here. I like working with military because I was in the Navy.
Oh, awesome.
And so, helping out military and veterans is something that I really love to do.
Sure.
Because, the VA loan can be a little tricky.
Yeah.
But it's,
A lot of people are kind of like, not necessarily turn off, you just hear VA, you're like,
Exactly. There's a lot of people that have that impression, and as soon as I hear VA, I'm like, all right, let's go. It turns me on because it's somebody that I know and I can relate with immediately. Especially if they're in another branch. Army. It's an instant way to jive them a little bit.
So this is it. So you were Navy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So does like Navy, Air Force, Marines, Army, you're like,
No, it's a friendly thing. They give it right back. They're like, hey, Swabby, what's up?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great fun working with vets and active duty. So
yeah, it sounds like fun. So you've been in the business for 5 years. What is different now in 2017 than when you started in 2012?
So
not necessarily in the market, but from an agent perspective on growing your business. So what have you learned over the years? And
so when I started, shortly after I started, I realized that I'd been out of the country for a long time. I'd spent 5 years out of the country, and I had lost contact with a lot of people in Tucson. And I was struggling on my own, and so I decided to join a team. And I learned a lot from being on a team. And after about a year, I realized that a team was the right thing for me, but I didn't want to be on a team. I wanted to have my own team. And so I broke off and went on my own and tried to figure out what it was that I wanted to do with a team and how I wanted the organization of it to look, and worked with several agents over that time and try to figure out what the pieces were going to look like. And over the last year, it's really coagulated into what it looks like now. And we're still growing and building, and looking forward to bigger and better things with 2018. We're in the stages of, putting together a business plan and looking forward to.
So right now you guys are operating as a team. So what does the team look like right now, and what are you guys looking to evolve it into in 2018?
Right now there's 3 of us. We just lost an agent because of a pregnancy that she needed to go and take
Gotcha.
a leave of absence.
Makes sense.
And which that works fine, So after the holidays, that position will get replaced. Not a good time to be training during the holidays.
Sure, yeah.
But quickly get back to 4, and then hopefully I'd like to get it close to doubled by the end of 2018.
Oh, double
Yep.
what you're at right now.
Yep, and it's not about the speed at which we grow. It's about putting the right person in.
Sure.
And getting them the training and the support that they need.
Yeah, so that's
to succeed.
Absolutely. So that's another question I'd ask. As a team, what would entice somebody to join the Peterson team? Like, what kind of support, structure, or what value do you bring to agents that join the Peterson team?
So we have. There's actually a lot of things that bring value, and besides the Remax value, we have transaction management.
Sure.
That's taken care
that's
of.
huge.
We have the agent's marketing all taken care of. So any marketing that needs to be done is all paid for, whether it's signs or business cards or,
Yeah.
postcards, flyers, whatever. That's all paid for by the team, by myself. And then lead generation is more than enough for anyone that wants to come. There's actually a great need for agents to join because there are more leads than I can handle. It's funny. My favorite thing to do when I get those calls, whether it's Zillow or the next Torchex or whoever is calling to sell me the next lead gen platform, that sounds great, but does it come with more agents?
Yeah.
I can't do anything unless you're going to give me more agents.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about that. Some of the main business drivers of the Peterson team that has driven success, and that's one of them that you just mentioned is your online.
I do a lot of online lead gen. There's a number of different lead platforms that we go through on there, and then we do direct mailing. We use all of our agents' sphere of influence. Referrals, obviously. We do a lot of open houses. The team does 3 to 4 or 5 a week, and we are involved in the development of a luxury semi-custom development down in Wildcat Pass, just off Star Pass, starting at $750,000.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of lots and homes that we're building out down there, and there's a lot of things that are going on.
So you guys will have the agent presence in that
We do.
development?
Yeah, we're constantly down there, and it's an exciting time.
Yeah, I have to check out those homes. They sound...
It's great. We've got one that's currently done, and there's one that should be done here in a couple months. So
That's awesome. So in addition to online, I know you mentioned Commissions Inc. and some of the other platforms that you guys use. What are some other big business drivers for you guys?
So, I mean, other than
Well, I know before you mentioned, Sphere. So maybe
Sphere.
what specifically around, working your Sphere? What do you do to stay in front of your Sphere? And also open houses. You guys do several open houses, like you already mentioned.
Yep.
What makes an open house successful? Because I think a lot of agents, they're like, oh, I'll host an open house, but then it's crickets chirping. Nobody knows about it. You know, is it putting out a bunch of signage? Is it doing the pre-online? Like,
There's a lot of different things. I'm putting out, 40, 50 signs for an open house. I'm marketing the house a week ahead of time, 2 weeks ahead of time to drive traffic in. I want people at my open house. I'm not there. Most people do open houses to get buyers, and yes, that's great. My primary motivation in doing an open house is to sell the house.
Sure, absolutely.
That house sells, that's better than getting some buyers that may or may not be qualified or able to buy right now, or
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit.
Or actually loyal.
Yeah.
Because that's a big problem.
Well, you probably know because you get a lot of online leads, and that's your biggest problem with the online leads is that,
Zillow's, I forget what the time frame is, but they've done 17 million or billion leads now.
Jeez.
And their conversion rate is 1%.
Really?
Yeah, like 350,000.
So it's
something like that.
It's a lot of work.
Ridiculous. Yeah, they're nobody is loyal.
Yeah.
And it just takes persistence and consistency.
Yeah, I'm sure you have some type of follow-up system to help warm those up a bit, or
absolutely,
or build a relationship
it's all
virtually, because
it's all about building that relationship.
There's a trick to it to be able to convert them.
Absolutely.
It's only a 1% conversion rate. So let's talk a little bit about customer experience, which is something that you guys kind of hang your hat on at the Peterson team.
Absolutely.
So what is it? How do you deliver above average customer experience? What does that look like from a customer and from an agent perspective? What do you do?
Going that extra mile, whether it's from the very first time that you've sat down with them before you've listed their house, or before you've even taken them out to look at their house, finding out what they really need, what their goals truly are, and making sure that you're able to meet them, and keeping them on task to meet their goals, because a lot of the times people forget what they're really trying to do.
Right.
They get distracted throughout, and they get emotional instead of staying focused on what the true objective is. And keeping in contact with your clients is a very simple thing that a lot of people forget to do. It's hard enough when you try and show a house and you can't speak to someone to put an offer in. I can only imagine the frustration that's felt by that client when they're not finding out what's going on with that house. We want to keep our clients as informed as possible. We really want to make sure that the American dream can come true. It's possible when, in this. A lot of people think that owning a house is not, a viable option anymore. There's a lot of people that we work with, whether it's retirees, that are coming down and finding out that they can buy more of a house than they thought they could, whether it's a reverse mortgage or whatever kind of product that they don't know about, or finding out about down payment assistance to help people that have decent jobs but don't have enough saved up to get that down payment down. I really truly believe that the ability to own a house, which is one of the biggest financial decisions that most people make in their lives, is something that everyone should be afforded. It's such a joy to see these clients' faces when you're handing them the keys.
Yeah.
That's what
Especially
makes it
somebody
all,
like you just said, like people that don't necessarily think they can afford a house or deserve a house or they can get one.
You've had people that have been foreclosed on or have bankruptcies, and they've given up on the idea of owning a house ever again. They're people with great jobs.
Yeah.
And they're just trapped in this mindset that they're going to be renting for the rest of their lives.
Right.
And there's just not enough information and education for these people, and we try and just help them along and make sure that they know that they have choices and options.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that you touched on that's critical, as a real estate agent is just the communication, So
Yeah.
Making sure that your client, your listing, everybody's informed of what's going on, and then also educating people into their options that they may not have known that they had. Maybe a renter reaches out and you're like, you may want to consider buying. I mean, you could potentially buy, if
Well, I ran into that today. I've got, I was talking to someone and they're trying to figure out how to help their mother-in-law because she's 78
oh, wow.
and she lives in an apartment and they want to, take over her responsibilities. And they don't want her to move in or build a guest house on their property. And, I was explaining for the amount that she's paying in rent, you could just buy a house and it would be cheaper than what she is paying in rent.
Right.
It's weird that in Tucson, it's cheaper to buy a house than it is to rent.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there are.
You would think that would push more people into wanting to buy.
It should. But there are a lot of people that are scared of what happens if something breaks, or the maintenance, or mowing the lawn, or
right.
HOAs coming down on them, and the responsibility of paying taxes. But a lot of that all gets wrapped up in the mortgage, and if you have problems with an HOA, don't live in an HOA area.
I know, right?
There are ways around a lot of these things, which in our initial consultation, we can try and just sit down and talk to people and get them to figure out what is truly the best fit for them. It's weird to say, but most of the time, as agents, we know what people want better than they do because we understand the whole process more, and we can guide them through what they're actually thinking. When someone says this, that's not really what they're trying to say. They're saying X, but that's their motivation. They really actually mean Y.
Right.
So yes, I understand that you're saying that you want a 5-bedroom house, but you really don't, and this is what you're really looking, that kind of a thing,
Right.
And it's funny then you take them you just show them some listings without even going to the listings online, and they're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. It's funny how often that happens, and I like just being able to be that guide for people.
Sure.
It's great. I think that's one of the most rewarding parts of this career is just always being able to help people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, ultimately, real estate agents are kind of in the solutions business. So, like you said, you're helping people find solutions. Like maybe they thought they wanted that 5-bedroom.
Exactly.
But you find the right solution that fits them. So, if somebody watching this segment is interested in hiring you guys to find a home in the Tucson area, or if somebody's interested in picking your brain, maybe wanted to see what you guys have to offer and join your team, how does somebody get a hold of you?
They can reach us. They can reach me at my email, chrispcloses@gmail.com, or my phone number is 520-247-1102.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking time out of your
All right.
busy day.
Thanks so much,
and
Jordan.
joining
Yeah.
me on this segment of Real Estate Pros. And we will see you guys on the next episode.
All right, great, thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. For more information on hosting your own Facebook Live show just like this one, message Lister Pros directly on Facebook